And what scares me the most is I believe that God, in my own mind, I'm a big visualization person. So what keeps me going is like visualizing. It's not true, but it helps me. I believe that God had this big chart in heaven. And when you get there, if you earn your right to get there, you get there in heaven, and you get there, let's say I walked up at 300 pounds. And God says, hey man, great job, you made it to heaven. And he rips this page down from Brian Underwood. And now it says David Goggins' chart. He rips it down, throws that paper to the side. And he says, look at this. And I'm reading it. I go, what is this? He goes, how much do you weigh? 300 pounds. What did you do? I was a pest control guy for 40 years. He says, this is what you were supposed to be. A 185-pound person. Be able to run 205 miles. Break the pull-up record. Motivate people. Energize people. Make them driven. Make them passionate. Make them find more. So am I in heaven or in hell? That's what motivates me. It scares me also, because I believe that we are all leaving a lot on the table. And now when I go to heaven, what I want God to look at me and say is, as you were living, I'm the all-knowing man. I had to get a damn marker out and write more as you were living. You see what I'm saying? I want to impress him. I want to make a stand. Yeah. And so once I finally got through the ASVAB test, I started feeling more confident.
Right.
I can read, I can write. I taught myself something.
Right.
And I worked so hard on how to swim that I started giving a little more confidence to myself.
You didn't want to go backwards anymore.
I didn't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
And so when everything got hard for me, I always went backwards. I said, not this time. So I wasn't going to quit regardless. So, but what happened was week 6, they pulled us all out, like 25, 30 guys left, and they drew my blood. They found out I had sickle cell. Sickle cell is a blood disease that some African Americans have, and under stressful situations.
It's anemia type situation.
Well, I had sickle cell trait.
Okay.
But you can still die from it. So it's called sudden death. It happens a lot. And so they didn't know. They're like, well, you made it so far. So they pulled me out of training for a week. And they want to do more studies, more tests, see what's going on. They did all that stuff. I stayed out for a week, and I got real comfortable. So when you go from being uncomfortable to comfortable, your mind's like, I'm not going back in that water. You saw your boys getting drowned and getting trashed in the water, and you're on the sidelines watching saying, So a week went by, the doc called me back up, and I'm thinking I'm going to get medically disqualified from the Air Force. I'm like, this is great. I'll never have to quit. So the doctor looks at me, doctor says, you know what, we could push you back in training. But I thought to myself, a week's gone by, a couple weeks left, and I'm out of here, man. I made it through OLH. I can go, try to be a pararescueman. No, I went back to the CO, Sergeant Larkin, or not Sergeant Lundberg. Sergeant Lundberg looked at me and said, I'm glad you're back in training, man, but you got to start from day one. So my mind raced real fast, and I went right back to my old self. I had to find a way out of this. I cannot start back from day one, but I don't want to quit. So I used that medical thing as an excuse for me. I said, hey, you know what, Sergeant, I'm scared about the sickle cell thing, and no, I wasn't scared about that. I was scared of the water. And I didn't want to quit. So I found a way out without quitting, and the way out was him saying, well, you know what, I understand. So he gave me a medical. So I can keep my head up a little bit and not quit, but my pride was shot because I knew the truth. I knew that I really quit. So when I was in 6th grade, we had a play, and I used to stutter real bad, man. I mean, like, I couldn't say a word without just going off on my stuttering, man. So whenever I'm in front of people, I tell them that. I literally walked off a stage because I couldn't get the damn, I had one line to say in 6th grade, one line. And I literally walked off stage because I couldn't say the line. So I get in front of these people, and I speak for an hour and a half. And I look at them before I start speaking, and I say, my God, this is pretty amazing. When I was a young kid, I couldn't even stand in front of 2 people to speak in front of them. And where I'm getting at is, I found great power in facing my fears. And by doing that, it gave me such confidence to stand in front of a lot of people, because I now know what a lot of us are going through so much, but I had the guts to face it. I had the guts to tell people how messed up I am, how messed up I was, the struggles I'm going through. Very few people have that in them to do that on a public platform, and that gives you a lot of confidence when you finally get to the point when you really mean what you think about me. There's a lot of power in the fact that you can stand up in front of people and look at them, and if you mess up or if you whatever, if you start stuttering, you don't care. And to have that kind of mindset, I'm finally there now through facing myself. So yeah, all those things I don't fear too much anymore, man. And if I do, I attack it. Never pick the easy road. Never. Never. And it always goes back to kind of the hero mentality. Never pick the easy road. Ever in your life. That is the one road that is doomed. If you want something like 6-minute abs, you may achieve what you wanted, but you want the permanent fix. The permanent fix comes from the hard road. The hard road gives you permanent results. The easy road gives you the quick fix. You will go back to where you started on the easy route. That hard route is so permanent that it ends up callousing you everywhere. Everywhere.
You keep a six-pack forever.
You keep it.
You keep it.
Because you know the work that goes into it.
Yeah.
When you get to where you want to go in life, when you finally get there, you finally reach that point, and you're there, and you're happy as hell. Realize this, you're not there yet. When you get that feeling that you arrived, be afraid. Be truly afraid. Because now you start to do this.
Slowly die.
Slowly die. Either you're getting better or you're getting worse. You're not staying the same. So when you get to where you think the journey is ended, and you're sitting back and you're like, I arrived, I'm on Mount Everest. I climbed 29,029.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is fall back down that damn mountain as fast as you can and start climbing. We love hanging around people that tell us what we want to hear, not what we have to hear. And what you have to hear at times like that is you're not doing enough. We live in a world with very thin skin. And I had very thin skin back in the day, which is why nothing changed for me. Nothing changed for me because people go, my God, like they say, what did you say in the accountability mirror when you started changing? I called myself fat. I called myself dumb. I called myself whatever the hell the truth was. It wasn't pretty. And a lot of us want to make this thing look like a nice rose garden. You don't fix problems that way. You don't fix problems by making yourself feel better, by talking to yourself in a way. No, be real with what you are and who you are and what's going on in your life. And that's how you fix problems. It's okay. If you're fat, you're fat. I was once there. Fix it. It can be fixed. You're not being down on yourself. You're not being hard on yourself. You're calling yourself what it is. It's the reality of what you are. What are you going to do with the reality of what you are? If you give yourself this get out of jail free card of, oh, you know what? It really isn't that bad. You know, it really is. It really is. And it's okay to say that. And that's how you start to fix it. That's the accountability mirror right there. I didn't care about losing weight. I didn't care about being the fastest person. I wasn't making the Olympics. I wasn't going to pros. I could barely read and write when I was in a junior in high school. I wasn't going anywhere. I saw working out as a way for me to build calluses on my mind. I had to callous over the victim's mentality. So I watched these movies. I talked about Rocky last time I was on here. I always equated training to mental toughening. Like, it always looked brutal. People waking up early and doing all these things, and it looked horrible. I was like, wow, man, I got to start doing that. Not to get better, bigger, and stronger, but that is what's going to build me. That looks uncomfortable. That looks brutal. And getting up early, I don't want to do that. So I made this long list of things that I don't want to do. And through that, I found myself. I started, I'm like, you guys aren't doing this in high school. You guys aren't getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, running over here in this golf course. So I started seeing myself very differently than the average human being. I was like, hang on a second. I have something they don't have. And that's when I started to develop these things through working out. It was this great, never-ending work ethic. And through work ethic, I developed self-esteem. I watched a lot of movies, and I was really big into visualization. And I always equated working out to struggle. And I struggled my whole life, but I ran from it. So I started realizing, man, I got to start facing the struggle, and I got to be mentally strong for the struggle. So that's where I started coming up with, like, I'm training for life. Mentally, I'm training for life. I'm not training for, like, to lift 400 pounds. And I found out on my own pretty much, is that through discipline, through self-discipline, through repetition, through tons of repetition of the same thing that you don't want to do, and that's the key thing. Through repetition of things you don't want to do, you develop mental, like an armor for your mind. You start to armor your mind, because your mind's like, okay, we suffer every day. It's what we do. We do stuff that sucks every day. So then when the suck stuff comes, you're ready for it. And that's how I started coming up. I just started being very uncomfortable. And now it's like just a way of life.